Hello and welcome. I'm going to give you a little how-to on to do this life purpose breath. And so there is a breath for that. There's a breath for everything. And life purpose breath helps us to expand our potential. It gives us the opportunity to challenge ourselves into trust that the next action is the right one. And so to do this life purpose breath, we are using ratios. And when we start to do ratio breathing, it becomes very, very personal to you. My lung capacity and your lung capacity is different. My ability to breathe and hold for my own self is different from myself day to day and week to week. So I'll give you the concepts on how to develop this practice for you. So it is a ratio breath. And ratio simply means I pick how much time I breathe in, how much time I hold, how much time I breathe out, and how much time I hold out. There's 4 components to the breath: the inhale hold, the exhale, and the exhale hold. Some ratio breathing uses a combination of all of these. Some doesn't do maybe some of the holds. But today's breath uses an inhale, like we always need to do. It uses an inhale hold, and it uses an exhale. And then at the bottom, instead of holding, we just pause and let it just settle before the next inhale. So as I mentioned before, this is, excuse me, good for expanding our potential. So we take away the contraction for it. So some tips for breathing. So when we're doing ratio type breathing, it is often good to spend 2 or 3 breaths just to get the lungs ready to choose the ratios that we're going to do. So I always try to do that. And then when I'm getting really serious with a breath practice and I can sit for a while, I'll use a metronome or grandma's old clock that goes click, click, click. And that helps me gauge actually what my ratios are from day to day, week to week, and so forth. So I know if I'm setting my metronome or my clock to click once a second and I breathe in for 4, I know I have a 4-second breath. What we do for our life purpose breath is we will breathe in, we'll hold for twice as long as we breathe in, and then we breathe out for twice as long as we've just breathed in. And then we pause at the bottom. So let me be more clear. I'm going to use the example of breathing into 4. So we breathe into 4, we hold for 8, we exhale for 8. And then we just pause just for a second and then breathe in again to 4. We hold for 8, exhale for 8, and pause. So really simple breath. One thing to watch for when we breathe is as we're developing our breath, oftentimes we'll find the space that the inhale gives us, but as we exhale, we kind of collapse in. So we want to watch for keeping ourselves upright. And the practice of breathing is really, really got so many layers to it. So we watch that we stay upright. We don't have to sit in any particular way, but just upright in a minute chair right now. Because when we hold the breath in, it does have a tendency to elevate the blood pressure a little bit. So watch that. And because we're doing a slow exhale, we could start to get just a little soupçon or a little smidgen of panic. Like, I can't do this. So the breath practice is going to ask us today to just find ease. So we notice that when we hold the breath in, that there's softness in the jaw and around the eyes and the shoulders. And that when we exhale, it is from belly and it lifts us up. And we go slow and we know that that next breath is always there for me. So we'll go do the practice now.